Okay, let's pray. Dear God, we thank you that tonight we come again to study your words and how to serve you and serve our churches. Pray for your wisdom, understanding, and help everyone that we can do well so we can glorify you. Help each one of us according to our need. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, tonight we on chapter 7. We talk about multicultural worship. I use the word technicolor. It means that how you put everyone together from different culture, ethnic group, and make one church, worship together. I don't know, you ever try? I think that a lot of American church try, but I don't know they call successful or not. A lot of American church call their joy worship successful. It means that everyone come to joy to sing English song, listen to the English sermon, and do everything that the typical American church do, and they call that successful. Well, in one sense, yes. But when we talk about joy worship with multicultural, multi-ethnic, I mean that everyone share their way of worship. Everyone take part in that leading, sharing. So it means different things. It means that every group have a chance to take part in leadership, in sharing, leading, and joy with the worship. So now, when you say that, it's a lot of work. Why? Because you need to have all the different groups sit together to plan. And every group will have a chance to take part in leadership, in singing, sharing, witnessing, or do anything. And that is more work and more difficult. But why we try to do that? Well, because this is the right thing to do. Because it shows that we care for everyone who join with us. We care about every part of the whole body of Christ. We care about the whole congregation. Today, a lot of churches, you might call that is a show business. It's not wrong to call that because a lot of churches hire professional to do all the leadership, and they don't let the congregation get involved. So they say that this is a show. Everything needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be the best. But I don't agree with that kind of show because a church is not a show business. It's a place to worship God. So we need to change the idea that a lot of church try to make a show to impress people with all the best. But we need to come to think that this is not a show. This is a place we come to worship God. So everyone needs to be part of that worshiping. Now, because it's important, this is the mission of the church. And this is how we make disciples. And this is part of the local church, mean that every part have important role in worship service. And we know that God wants us to do that way. Some people say that when we worship God, we need to do the best. Well, according to the Bible, the best is not mean professional. The best mean that it comes from people's heart. that people really come close to God with their heart and with all they have. And that is the best. Now, in this article, we talk about some steps that we can take. They say that first start with pray a lot. Everyone who get involved need to pray and ask God for help. It's not us who can do anything, but God's going to use us. And everything to glorify God in God's way. So God need to guide us, lead us. Second thing that they advise us is reflect, mean that think about it. Some church already try a few times, so think about the past. What right, what wrong, what good, what bad, what to improve. Reflect about all the experience and think that what God wanted to do. So reflection will help. And you can reflect about everything, even the order of the service, what we do, what we should do, what we think. It's like you think over and over again. Everyone have a part in that. And this is like preparation before you come to the big meeting, because everyone will bring their reflection, what they think, what will work to share. Without work in preparation first, you will take forever. But if everyone do their homework, prepare for the meeting, it will help and make things go very quick, very fast, and smoothly. And here they show us some example of different culture who try to come to worship together and to make something good for everyone. They use example of African culture. African culture, they use dance, music a lot in their worship. And they say that Chinese love to have poetry, suffering and mission. Latin American love celebration. Western European love to talk about doctrine, personal response. So you see, in different culture, when people worship God, they emphasize different things. So when you try to put everyone from different culture in one worship service, they say that think about what they like, what they do, and what will fit with the big group of every culture. They might cannot do everything that they love to do, but something that represent them and important for them. And think about other people who join with the worship, what they can share, and what going to make everyone feel included in that worship too. Okay, you think about reflection, pray, reflect, and number 3, they say plan. The planning process might take several days to several months. It depends on how big and how often you plan to have that kind of worship together in the multicultural setting. If it's a regular thing for every week, so you have to plan every week. If you have every month, once a month, you plan for that every month. If you have once a year, you can have a lot of time to plan for annual meeting or joy worship or joy cultural meeting or something. It depends on how much time you have. But planning is important. We need to have that. So that the 3 steps that they recommend what we can do when you want to have a joy worship or make a worship for multicultural, multi-ethnic. And in fact, I should emphasize also with multi-generation. One thing I want to pause for us to come back to think about what is the most difficult thing to do, to have a joy worship for multi-ethnic, multicultural, or multi-age or generation. Which one more difficult? And which one you think that we can do it now for our church situation today? Okay, three groups that I want you to think. Multicultural, multi-ethnic, or multi-generation. When I talk about multicultural and multi-ethnic, I want to emphasize the difference between that two. Multicultural can be everyone speak English, but come from different background. But when I talk about multi-ethnic, I mean that everyone talk their own language and very fresh. They still live completely in different ethnic. And the multi-generation can be anything, anyone, but just different age, from very young to very old. How they sit together in one church, in one service, and worship together happily. Well, I just wanted to reflect on that three groups. You have experience on that and how you do it. And for you, which one is the most difficult thing to do? Okay, I will stop here a little bit and come for your response on my question first. Now for you, which one is the most successful that you have done in the past? And which one that you think the most difficult that you ever try? Or you never try anything in the past? I believe at least the church have tried multi-generation in some form. Multi-generation means that you try to include your young people, your children, your grandparents, and your generation, at least 4 generations in one church, in one service. And I want to see that how successful you have done, how long you can keep them together. Are they happy? And how long it going to last? Start with multi-generation first.
We can keep them, they're underage. After that, we cannot keep them.
Why?
Because when they're 18 years old, they don't have to. We cannot tell them what to do no more. They have their way, and that's all of them is really hard.
Okay, in that situation, I might advise something. I have seen some church have done it pretty well. How they do it? Well, those churches might be very progressive in their thinking. I mean that the adult, the leadership, transfer their leadership, some leadership to the young generation. They let the young generation lead the worship and do what they think best for them. And the adult generation just back up. So I don't know, that might be not what we want. But it seemed to work for some group. They let the young generation run the church, and the older generation just back up. I don't know, is that some good idea for you? It doesn't work today because our old generation running the church. And we don't let the new generation have leadership role. Do you think that's the problem? And can we do something?
Ajahn, we still don't think that it's a work together because we do have that young youth group English service once 1 month we join combine one time for the communion, but I see it still look like you know what, it's kind of opposite way. I don't know what the idea is.
Yeah, you see, it become two churches.
That I believe that also. Mhm.
Well, I have seen some churches in Thailand that try to compromise. But more churches have to separate worship for young people and for old generation. They separate worship.
We are doing same thing like that
So 1 week, the first week of the month, and we
for the Lord's
for
Supper.
the combined service.
So I think at least we should share the facility. We still feel that we are the same church, but two
Yeah,
different congregation.
yeah, yes.
So I think a lot of Asian churches will end up that way. The best we can do. But you don't see that in American churches, in Caucasian culture.
Yeah, John, if we don't do like this, and then we lost all the young people. We have to do it. We at least we have to have that. So no matter what, how long we're going to hang till, but we still have to encourage the youngsters to come in. So we have to have divided like that.
Are they happy?
John, so far I see that the one who has come to service look like they're happy. They're happy, and they have their own youth, their own leadership, their own pastor. Yeah.
But not that many. It's not that many.
Yeah.
Now we talk about multi-generation. Now, if you think that multicultural, is it possible? You look at the reality in a big American churches, majority white, have a little bit of black, a little bit of Asian, a little bit of Spanish sitting there. Can you call that multicultural or multi-ethnic? Well, if you call people who sit there multi, yes, but if you look in the real sense that those people who sit there have no leadership role. They don't share their culture. They don't do anything in that congregation. Everything go there, worship in the typical American way. Speak English, eat American food. Well, sometimes once a year they might share some ethnic food. So you think that is the best we can do?
John, to me, so far I can see at this time it look like it's the best because I went there once already, twice, second time, or we went there 1 or 2 times.
Just one time.
Like a whole row, like Black, Asian, Spanish, white, whoever, okay, and Thai-Lao, Mien, all around. I believe I don't know it. That's studios, you know what, church right there.
The Bay Hill.
Yeah, Bay Hill, they do a service 3 times a day, I think, in the sun on the sun.
Hmm.
That
Eight
over 1,000 people each service, I think.
It's like Ajahn said before. They not even know the member.
Ajahn, we don't not even know our pastor, okay?
Hmm.
Stay there at least maybe 1 year, 2 year. Sometimes pastor not even know the member.
Hmm.
They don't know the name. Just, oh, welcome to the church. When the pastor say, welcome to the church.
So why people go there? There might be something good there.
It's
Just only like a service online or the Zoom or whatever, just pretending like that. Probably.
Yes, sometimes the people not going there, but they have the broadcast and then they can stay home and see and
Mhm.
yeah, something like that. But I don't know.
I went to some big churches in Southern California. They say that they practice their show 3 times a week.
Mm.
In fact, it is the worship service, but the team practice, so they call a show.
Yep, but that just look like a show.
I don't know. I don't want to criticize them as long as they worship God and they bring people to salvation. So at least they do something good. Now, do you think that in the future more churches have to do that way to impress people?
To me, if a big church, I believe something like that. If a big church. But I don't know how independent, like a small church, I don't know. But for the big church, Rocklin also has one over there in Rocklin. I went there one time too, something like a show, entertainment, like a concert.
So many people that
Mhm.
time. Because that time we went there because our older son lived in Rockland
Mhm.
and one Sunday and we cannot
Come home.
yeah came back home and then we went to the church. That's the same like Baptist.
Mm.
Oh, but a lot of people.
When I get up, go to the restroom. When I come up, I'm not even can find farm where at.
It's so big.
Well, if you think this way, 90% of churches in America are small. Less than 10% are big. And those small churches, about 5,000 die every year. So in America, every year, 5,000 churches die. But about 3,000 new churches born. But still, we still losing. Let me continue sharing the note with you. Now, they collect some challenge, something that we always have to think about when you try to promote the multi-ethnic congregation or multi-cultural church or multi-generation group. They say that the first thing that you have to think about is time. It means that we all have different time. Mean that we all work in different shift, different day. When you try to combine different group of people who work in different time, different day, different section, it's more difficult. If you have a church that most people work in the same field, in the same class, it's a lot easier because they all have the same schedule. Similar time they have. But when you work with all different group of people, they all have different time, different schedule. So the first big problem is try to find the perfect time for everyone that they can join in your worship, planning, and do a lot of things together. The second thing is distance. People normally use close to one another in the sense that similar people live in the same group. So like the white people live in certain part of the city, black in certain part, Hispanic in another part, or Asian. So you see, when you try to combine different culture, different group, they have to travel a lot to find a place that good for everyone is always difficult. So now time problem, distance problem, and the third thing, language. People always say that we live in America. We should use English. That's practical. But in the sense of a lot of culture, the first generation still use their own native language. And English going to be very difficult. So how you handle the differences between languages? Some people say we have translation. Translation just solves some of the problem. But translation also cause more problem. Why? If you don't have a good translator, you might not communicate in the same thing. The translator might make mistake. Name discomfort. You might be surprised that the name that each culture use for their worship service are different. And when they use a certain name, it means certain thing for them. And some culture don't use something. So all the different order name that they use in their worship can cause uncomfortable and unfairly feeling among people. Now they say that when you tell them try to overlook, try to accept it, it's not easy. So this is another step that everyone needs to work on, how to overcome all the discomfort, all the differences. So a lot of people come to this point and decide give up. Why bother with all these problems? Since we can worship in our own group, even small it might be better. And a lot of groups decide not to have a joint multi-worship, ethnic or cultural, because they don't want to face a lot of problems. They want the easy, simple worship among their own people, even in a very small group. Well, we can talk about that. That might be the result of a lot of things that we do today. So they advise that we cannot solve every problem, and we will always face a lot of obstacles, but God wanted to be one. Whatever we can do, we do. And whatever we cannot do, we need to live with it. Try your best. And then don't give up. Keep working. Keep doing. And this is what God wants us to do. Whatever you can do, keep doing it. And the article will continue. How we going to try? Well, in this article, we talk about different style of worship, mainly talking about some group love or the order or the ceremony. Some group might love a simple one. And they say that we can combine, use both, keep some, change some, but it's easy to say, because in some tradition, in some culture, they don't want to change. They want to keep it that way. For example, in the past, when you go to the Roman Catholic worship, there is only one thing. The priest will speak only Latin. You understand or not, it doesn't matter. They don't care. And all the things the priest will share in Latin. So this is their formal style. It doesn't matter what language you speak, where you come from. The Roman Catholic Church just have one style, one format. Now, we talk a lot more on the Protestant side. The Protestant side also have other tradition, but we need to be more flexible when work with different culture, with different ethnic. So we try to do a lot of new things that we can bring more people to God and to worship together as a family of God. I know that it's easier to just do the thing that we feel comfortable. But don't you think God wants us to join with other brother, sister, and to join it with a big family? So this is some suggestion that what we can do. Some people say that if you try, you will see it easier than you worry. Well, it depends. Some people found out that if we try, it turned out that a lot of things a lot easier than what we worry about. But it's not always the case. Because there's still a lot of difficulty, a lot of things that we cannot do, we cannot change. So we will face the reality. We can do something, we cannot do a lot of things, but at least we try. Unity is always what God wants from us, from His church. So don't give up and don't stop trying to work with different groups, different people. So they say in conclusion, there is no one size fits all, not one way to solve all the problems. But what we learned is all Christians need to love one another and try to be part of the body of Christ wherever you go, and make people feel comfortable to join you, to worship with you. Whatever you can do to make people feel comfortable or feel welcome, do it. And don't hesitate to adjust, adapt, and change something that you think is good for everyone. We don't need to keep all the culture or the tradition forever, because culture, tradition is man-made. And it's good when we live in certain culture, certain time, certain situation. But everything can change. Everything can adjust. And we need to learn to be that way as Jesus' disciple. Now here we'll have some example how you going to have the joy worship from one of the church that they try to do the order of worship. And we can look at example and we can come and try our way later on. It's a good example that we can like order of worship, joy worship service for everyone that we know. Now come back to what we try to do. Why we worry about the ethnic, cultural, and general differences that we're facing today. In the past, we just ignore it and let it go. But in fact, we cannot ignore it. We have to face it. And it's just what we want to do with it. We want to try to work out with different group, different generation, or do nothing. I don't know what you will choose to do. At least I think we need to try our best. And for you, which way that you think you can start doing something? I want to get your reflection. You see that at least once a year, I think you meet for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or some special occasion with your friend churches from
Yes.
different culture.
Yes, we did that, Ajahn, with our
Ah.
Indian brothers, and we haven't done with the American yet because I think we tried before, but it doesn't work out. Because I don't know, because every time we get together with the American, but then some of our members, half of them go, half of them don't go.
You ever ask them why?
They said the thing is that because they said it's language.
Oh, language problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we do meet. We meet maybe 3 times a year. You know, like back and forth. You know, Ajahn Pun and our church, and you know, and sometimes we meet with Sam, and sometimes Pastor James in Sacramento.
But today, when you meet with different churches, like the Mien Church, the Lao Church, the Thai Church, I think we use a lot of English too.
Yeah. I think with the Mien and also we find a similar common. That's why we can fit in. Food is another one.
Mm.
And the
So
language. Yeah.
language is not the biggest problem now. So some other thing we need to work out.
we try with the mother church. We have Spanish church. We have Laotian church. We have Caucasian. We all come together do I think lunch, potluck,
Mm.
and it turned out, like it turned out okay. But then, maybe they don't like a lot of food, spicy, and make them, I don't know. Some of them might get stomachache, never get to eat they taste Asian food before. Could be that.
Mm.
And since then, we haven't had it for like 5 years already, right?
Mm. So what the goal that they bring everyone together?
I think they try to be like we in one,
Mm.
one church, but
Mm.
worship different, but still under one roof. But we
Mm.
are one body. They look at that way. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, good intention.
Mhm.
So I agree that we will face problem, but I think we should not give up. We should keep working on it, maybe a little bit at a time. And you see that we talk about isolation, assimilation, or cooperation. Isolation that we do it for a long time, mean that we live by ourselves, we don't care about anyone, and we keep it as long as we can until we die off. That isolation. Assimilation means that we join the big church and become part of them. And what else? But the cooperation means that we be a different group, but become part of the big group, maybe equal or part of it, and support one another. I know that every one of you don't have the same position to negotiate, but one of the options you need to choose for yourself, for your church, for your people.
John, I think the part that we're doing is the option that we are part of their church,
Mm.
and we support them, and they support us in somehow that let us under the roof, but we support them in many ways.
Yeah, it seemed to work for your group, so I think that's a good option.
Yep.
I believe that each one of us have different choice for different reasons. Now we talk about history of people who immigrate to America for the past 200-300 years. At certain time, a big group of people immigrate to America, like the English, the German, the French, the Spanish, Portuguese, and Chinese, Japanese. Certain situations brought a lot of them to America. So they have a big group. They start their churches. And in 50 years, most of them disappear. Why? Because they integrate into American culture completely. Why? Because they look similar, like white people from Europe. After the second generation, they cannot tell the difference. They speak English, American English, go to American school, and they can assimilate into normal American church real quick. So they lose the German church, the Russian church, other churches. But the African, the Spanish, the Asian look different and come from very different culture. So after 100, 200 years, most of them still there. Even the number might decrease and new generation might not come back, but you still can see a lot of ethnic churches from Asia in America. And now you might say that those Chinese, Japanese, Korean, second, third generation, they all speak English. But culturally, a lot of them still Asian in some sense. So why they keep it that way? Well, and you already feel that food, culture, a lot of things make them feel comfortable, not comfortable. And when people go to church, they still want to feel comfortable with people who look similar to them. And that is psychologically explanation. And look at theological perspective. That might be a point of witnessing to other group of people. You look at what Paul said. I'm going to be the Greek to win the Greek. I'm going to be a Roman so I can win the Roman. So now you see the point that God allowed all the different ethnic groups for a good purpose. So you can reach out to certain group of people better. Because those people will feel more comfortable to talk to you, to be your friend, because they know that you have some connection with them. And this is why I think that ethnic church is still important. And especially in America, we know that God used America a lot to reach out to the world. We have all the readiness. We have all the things that God can use and can use it to reach out to the rest of the world. In the past, we always think that Korea, very active, Korea can do a lot, but now Korea almost do nothing too. America more 10, 20 times bigger than Korea. And a lot more money, resources. People might say that America now not so active. I mean Christianity. But even American is not that active at 50 or 100 years ago. America is still one of the biggest Christianity, Christian church, and resources in the world. So God still can use America. And I mean all of us too. You ever think that why God take you to America? Not just to run away from difficulty, from war, but God called you to be Joseph of your people. You remember the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis? God sent Joseph to Egypt to prepare him to save the world, to save his people. So if you are Joseph for your people, for your country, for your language, for your culture, this is your job. So how you think about that big calling that God put on all of us? What can you do? Some people say that we just sit there until we get old and die and done. I don't think so. So what should we do?
Keep serving the Lord, Ajahn. Like people said, oh, I'm too old. I cannot, serve. I cannot read. I cannot learn. But I think, anybody can. Just try, try the best ability that God gives you, and then do your best. And that's it.
What else you can do?
John, I think it's only pray.
Go fishing.
Can you explain your preaching?
Go fishing for the man.
You're right. We never stop bringing people to God.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not bringing anybody yet, so I don't know.
Well, we work as a team. We do our part the best we can. Not everyone going to be missionary, but we can support the work. We can be part of the team. People always ask me that, will you go back to Thailand to lead Thai? I say that, what do you mean lead Thai? If lead Thai means to go back to sit and sleep, to enjoy life, I say no. But if go back to serve, to reach out, to teach, to do anything possible. So you see that when God calls you, it's a lifetime calling. It's never done until you die.
Yeah, I believe that God called every one of us with a purpose. And everyone have a special gift that, you gotta find what kind of gift you have and use that to serve and to glorify God.
Yes. We all have to keep doing what we can do. And never stop serving, working, doing. And in this trip that I went back to Thailand, God showed me something more. You know that in the past, I just go and visit people, churches, mission, and come back. But this time, I offer that what I can do for them. Oh, now I see a lot. People dare not to ask for help until you open up that you're ready to help. Now the floodgate broke. So people have need, and you can serve God everywhere, anywhere. People need help and a lot of work. So even in America now, I still believe that you can do a lot for God. And it doesn't matter how big your church is and how much resources you have. You can do something from your church. It's just you step up, volunteer to do more. And I think that God will bless you more.
Ajahn, I have a question.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit story, some story of some of our brothers, Thai brother, sister, then went back to Thailand. How do they serve God? If you know anyone.
Some of your friends, my students who went back to Thailand to serve God. One lady went back to her village to give the land to build a church, and she started teaching, preaching in that church for many years. Not many people, but the church started and many people come to salvation. And she keep doing that. Another guy went back, one of your friends too. And he started serving in church. He preached, he teach, and do a lot of things.
Ajahn, I know B. Maybe you're talking about B.
No, B is another student. You met B before?
Yeah. His auntie used to be my babysitter. And we were living in Oregon. So yeah, we know them well. We know B well.
Oh yeah, in Oregon.
Riyong is one of them.
Yes, Lee Yong. Pilek
And
is another
Pilek.
one.
Pilek also one of your students, Ajahn.
Yes, they all do very well in Thailand. You know, I want to tell you a story. I went to Thailand and visit 9 churches. And I have a feeling that I should say something. So in the last week that I stay in Thailand, I preached in one church. And I opened up that if I can do something for you, let me know. You know what happened? People line up after I preach to talk to me. They need help. They need prayer. And they want to do something for God. I don't know, maybe people never challenge them or they never feel that what they can do for God. So I would encourage all of you, go back home sometime and visit churches, share your vision, what you do, and you will see a lot of people need your advice. I know that some of you might worry that if you open up too much, people will come and ask money from you. Because you come from America. Okay, so your job here in America among your churches is You do your best and try to build it up. Don't say that, well, time gone, your job never done. And try your best, what you can do. Try to build unity is one of the most important things. And it costs a lot to bring unity to your church. Why I say in our generation, unity is so important. Sometime in the past, we might think that we can be independent by ourselves and we can do anything ourselves. But God showed us that He wants us to unite it, to work together. So that's still the best thing what we can do now. So what do you think, what can bring all of us together to work together? Well, one thing that I would recommend is forget about yourself and put God first. A lot of time when we put ourselves first, we cannot do anything for God or for anyone. But put away ourselves and put God first for everything.
Agree with that, Ajahn.
Why it's difficult to put ourselves away? Well, sometimes we think that we invest a lot and we sacrifice a lot. But it means nothing without God. Okay, let us go back to the note to finish it first. Here is some example that they show us that how you can have a joy worship. But here the example come from American perspective, white Caucasian church. So, but at least they try to cooperate different culture. They try to invite different group of people to be part of their worship service. But you see that the format is still very white American congregation. They have like even when people walk in, they have someone lead the group. And some leader come to read the Bible verses. And someone come to thank you everyone and lead the communion, the Lord's Supper. And this is some example how they do. Someone preach and people respond. They have the communion and then someone come out to bless the people. This is a very American format. But if you look at Asian structure, you see that when you entrance, you read some Bible verses, now each group will sing, will share their music, their culture, but in the traditional American way, you don't have that. They cut all those off. So you see that the difference between culture, Asian people will have each group share their music, share their witness, and honor God in different ways. So you see, and when you want to build something for joy worship or joy cultural, you need to give people some time to share their culture, their tradition, and how they worship God. So this is something that we see that in the white American tradition, they don't think about that. Maybe because they don't do that before, so they don't know. Okay, I want to come to our group. You know that the way we Asian do it, when you invite different culture to join your worship, you allow them to have time to share their music, their tradition, their culture. And you think that an important part?
I think so too, Ajahn.
Yeah, because that make them feel that they are part of the worship.
Yes.
They have a big part in that. So that the whole goal, the whole purpose is about everyone have a part, everyone being in the body, and we care for them too. So you see that we all of you already start something good, and you can build on that. So I think a lot of white American churches have to come and learn how we do the joy worship, joy cultural. But for them, it might be feel that it's too long.
Longest about 3 hours, Ajahn.
Yeah, but the American worship, joy worship, around 1 hour or 1 hour, 15 minutes. 1 hour, 30 minutes is the maximum. But for us, 3 hours is normal. Well, I don't know for young people, young generation, they feel 3 hours okay.
Well, sometimes we have multiple churches come together and we give time for each church to share testimony or sing 2 songs, and some 3 songs. So that depends and that eats up all the time. Like for instance, we have 10 churches. That's even eat more time. So yeah.
But if most people like it, I think it's okay. It seems to be that everyone happy, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, good fellowship and good food when we come together.
So I think that most of us already have experience in the real thing. We try and we know what works. It's just sometimes we need to improve, make it better, that's all. So we learn from the American culture. They try to do it, but I think they are not so successful. So you will look from their perspective that they try, but most of the time I don't think it's so successful. They might try one time and then they stop. And a lot of times they don't know why it's not successful. Can you tell that why when they try it's not so successful?
I don't think they can sit too long. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, they don't let other people lead in the big part. It just they do everything, and it just let us go there and enjoy what they do. So that a big missing point. Everyone need to have part in that worship. Every group need to be a leader in that worship.
Ajahn, in that case, we learned some of the even Lao group too. When they invite us, and they do everything. We had no part in it.
Oh, they copy the American style, so that's not going to last.
So we thinking about go join them, and hopefully we can have some to say and all that stuff. But Nothing. Just go join it, enjoy them. That's it.
Well, there might be two reasons. First, maybe the time they don't have enough time, or second thing, they try to copy the American style. Or they don't trust the guests.
That probably one of the reason, maybe.
Okay, this is a good example. You can think about that and think that we can do something that going to build a church that let different culture, different group to be part of it. I think we already have some experience on doing that. And it seemed to work. So I
Ajahn,
think, yes.
You touched a little bit earlier. You said when you have guests and well, the group that didn't let Ajahn Kosai go up and share. Yeah, you got it right. Sometimes you don't know the guest. You don't know what a guest will go up and say something that is not encouraging or may mislead people. It happened to I think one church. Well, back in Oregon, we had one. Somebody went in, but went to the pulpit. He was preaching, but he got it all wrong. And after that, people say, "Oh, well, why did we invite that person?" So yeah, I think we have to be mindful about that too.
Yeah, yeah. Nathan says something very serious because I have seen that happen too. So I don't know, when you go to invite some group, how much you trust them and how much you accept them.
But I think if we have event or those stuff, still somebody go up and sing, I think it's okay. But somebody want to share the scripture, I think we have to know that person well too.
Yeah, thinking don't have problem, but when they try to preach or say something, it might cause problem. But you cannot always stop people want to share what they think or what they feel. But if you have someone who monitor or what people saying, that might can help.
Ajahn, or somebody can do is if you have a guest went up and just like say something that is not really according to the Bible, the MC can go up, like try to turn a little bit without making that person feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, the MC can do a lot on that because he have all the power. For example, the MC might go up and say, "Oh, that is personal thinking or idea." So that can limit the damage. But as a guest, I think that we need to respect the host that invite us. And in the same time, when you ask people to join you, you need to know them at least some.
Yes, like I said, you know, when people invite people to go up there to preach, you gotta know them, like Ajahn said, you gotta know them before you allow them to preach or allow them to teach. But you know, the guests, when we do event and all that stuff, we pick whoever we want to that we trust that, you know, give that message to you know, only that one person. The rest, like they can do testimony and singing. That's it when we
Yeah.
get together. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know some guests will do more than what we ask them to do.
Sometimes they double the time allowed. Chupu.
You're right, Nathan. I know. I remember that is the alumni the one we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I should have go out there and said, but I don't want to be mean, you know, to like embarrass him. So I let some fun do it.
Well, when you are the MC, you have the authority, the power to stop everyone. Okay, you have anything else to share for this class?
What's the project for this class, Ajahn?
Well, you can write the project how to have a joy worship or cultural worship. I think we already covered some idea how to build a congregation with different group of culture tradition. You can put some guideline that how to do it, how to run it.
So can we use like events?
Yeah, you can use that, but you
Yeah.
spell out, you allow each group to sing, to share for how many minutes, and what else that you can do in the worship service. And you can start from that. I know it's not going to work with every group, but at least we can try and adjust. Okay, anything else for this class?